Split squats are incredible for not only strengthening the knee and the lower part of the quad, but also opening up the back leg hip flexor, depending on your strength, on the level of your mobility, and also on the strength and health of your knees. There's probably going to be a difference in how you set up for these. So typically my rule of thumb is the higher that your front foot is, the easier that this movement is. So we can do these on the floor. I'll get into the form in a second. We can do them on a slightly higher platform, just like a step stool, again, making sure it's stable. Or the highest that I recommend would be a bench, so putting that front foot on the bench. Now the goal here, and the most important thing, is what we want to work towards is a full range of motion, meaning your hamstring and your calf should be touching. Driving that knee as far forward as you can, and noticing that in the process, your heel may need to come up off the floor. Now, some people have very good ankle mobility where they can just keep their heel flat on the floor, but especially when you start to lower that front foot, it's going to be even harder for you to keep that foot on the floor. So how you're going to set up for this movement is you're going to keep a very wide stance. You want to keep those hips forward, so you don't want to rotate out. And all you're going to do is drive that knee forward, lunge forward. You're going to hit that sticking point where your ankle can't flex anymore. That's when your heel can come off the ground to drive as far forward as possible. You're going to push up, and that's one. If you might need a balance here. You can also add weights as you advance, but all you're going to be doing is lunging forward, heel off the floor. You get that full range of motion. Straighten that back leg, which is going to make for a nice stretch in your hip flexor, and push off the ground. So from a bench setup, flexing that back leg to stretch that hip flexor, driving that knee as far forward as possible. And forward. Now if you have bad knees here, I want you to work up to this. Put your leg on a platform, hold the wall, go as far forward as you can, and as soon as you start to feel tightness and maybe a little bit of pain, scale 1 or 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, then you can push back up. You're going to work in that range of motion. And as you continue to do these, as you continue to do other knee strengtheners, your knee is going to slowly start to be able to come more and more forward until you have full extension. And then push. Okay, so front foot, depending on your expertise, leveling. Once you reach a certain point, you can either lower your foot to a lower platform, or you can add weight. There's a lot of ways to progress here. And what I really want you to focus on is finding ways to get slightly better every time you do these. So start with a little bit more range of motion, then maybe add a little weight, and maybe lower the weight, but lower your front foot a little bit, and add more weight. Then when you eventually get to the floor and you have full range of motion, you can just continue to add weight or reps. Okay? This one's a tough one. Take some practice, take your time with this. Make sure to post videos in the Facebook group if you need your form checked, and let me know if you have any questions.